dear students, members of the faculty, guests, and last but not least, IMT school graduates. Welcome to the 2025 PhD graduation ceremony. For the welcome remarks, we invite to the podium the president of the Fondazione Cassa di Risparmio di Lucca, Massimo Marsili.
Sono più emozionato io di voi, credo. Good morning, distinguished faculty, proud families, and most important, congratulations, doctors. It's an honor to stand before you today as we celebrate an extraordinary milestone, the culmination of years of intense study, relentless research, and profound intellectual growth. Today, we gather not simply to confer degrees, but to recognize a journey that few have the courage to embark, and even fewer have the perseverance to complete. A doctoral journey is unlike any other. It is marked by sleepless nights, countless revisions, moments of doubt, and flashes of discovery. It demands both humility and boldness. The humility to accept that all we stand on the shoulder of giants, and the boldness to question even the most established truths. But it's not only academic achievement we honor today. We celebrate resilience, we celebrate curiosity, we celebrate the unyielding pursuit of knowledge, not for its own sake, but for the impact it can have on the world. Each of you has contributed in your unique way to the advancement of human understanding. Your work may change how we understand behavior, how we treat disease, how we design algorithms, and how we interpret new scenarios of economic and conflict, and how we face the defy of the cultural heritage. But beyond your research, you have become leaders of thought, leaders of innovation, and of ethics. And the world needs you now more than ever. As you step into the next chapter of your journey, whether it be in academia, industry, public service, companies, carry with you not just your expertise, but your integrity, your empathy, your relentless drive, and to ask better questions in the future. Never forget that a PhD is not just a title, it's a responsibility. A responsibility to think critically, to speak honestly, and to lead wisely. So today, we do not simply say congratulations. We say thank you for your courage, for your brilliance, and for your promise. Now go forward, challenge the world, shape the future, but I hope don't forget Lucca e IMT School. Thank you.
We now invite to the stage the president of the province of Lucca, Marcello Pierucci.
Good morning. Gentili autorità, magnifico rettore Casini, docenti, diplomate e diplomati tutti presenti, a tutti voi un caro saluto dalla provincia di Lucca. Diplomate e diplomati, vorrei rivolgere un caloroso benvenuto a tutti voi, ai vostri familiari, ai vostri amici, che hanno condiviso con voi questo percorso. La loro presenza qui è un tributo al vostro impegno e alla vostra perseveranza. È per me un onore e un piacere poter condividere con tutti i presenti questo importante momento nel cammino formativo degli studiosi che oggi raggiungono un traguardo fondamentale per il loro, ma anche per il nostro futuro. Oggi è infatti un giorno speciale, un giorno che segna il culmine di un percorso di studio e di impegno che ha sicuramente richiesto dedizione, sacrificio e soprattutto tanta passione. Non siamo solo di fronte alla fine di un percorso accademico, infatti, ma a un momento che segna l'inizio di nuove sfide e soprattutto di nuove opportunità. La scuola IMT Alti Studi Lucca rappresenta un punto di riferimento di assoluto rilievo nel panorama culturale e formativo non solo nazionale ma anche internazionale. In pochi anni ha saputo coniugare in modo esemplare l'eccellenza accademica con forte apertura interdisciplinare e con un respiro indubbiamente europeo. Nella scuola IMT si formano giovani capaci di pensare in modo critico, e oggi ce n'è tanto bisogno, di dialogare con la complessità del presente e di contribuire con il proprio sapere alla crescita culturale, scientifica ed economica del Paese. E questo rende IMT qualcosa di speciale nel panorama culturale non solo italiano, come dicevo, ma anche internazionale. Perciò affacciarsi al mondo del lavoro, della ricerca, dello studio, con alle spalle un percorso accademico di tale spessore, è sinonimo di eccellenza in ogni ambito. La laurea che riceverete oggi non è solo un riconoscimento del vostro lavoro, ma anche un attestato della vostra capacità di affrontare le grandi sfide e raggiungere grandi obiettivi. Per Lucca, non solo in quanto comune capoluogo, ma per tutto il territorio della nostra provincia, che ho l'onore di rappresentare qui questa mattina, poter ospitare un'istituzione come IMT è decisamente molto importante, in quanto ne rafforza l'identità come città della cultura e della conoscenza, ma al tempo stesso genera un impatto concreto sul tessuto sociale, favorendo l'incrocio tra ricerca, innovazione e comunità e mettendo la città al centro di questo importante incrocio. È per questo motivo che la provincia di Lucca ha recentemente deciso di approfondire la sua relazione con IMT attraverso la sottoscrizione di un protocollo d'intesa che aprirà la strada a nuove collaborazioni, a nuovi progetti, iniziative di carattere scientifico, culturale, sociale, di reciproco interesse sia per l'università con i suoi docenti e ricercatori, ma sia per tutto il territorio della provincia di Lucca. Un ringraziamento particolare va al Rettore Lorenzo Casini, che per primo ha deciso di avviare questo nuovo rapporto e naturalmente anche per avermi invitato a prendere la parola in questa importante cerimonia, dandomi così l'opportunità di augurare, anche a nome dell'intera amministrazione provinciale, a coloro che oggi segnano una tappa del loro cammino di formazione, un futuro ricco di soddisfazioni, ricco di sfide, appassionati e traguardi sempre più ambiziosi. La strada che avete davanti è vostra, percorretela con coraggio, con curiosità e con tanta responsabilità. Grazie a tutti voi.
We now invite Simona Testaferrata, Councillor for the Education of the City of Lucca, to give her welcome remarks.
Buongiorno, effettivamente è emozionante parlare di fronte a tutti voi, che intanto ringrazio per la nostra partecipazione e per l'invito. È con grande piacere che porto anche quest'anno i saluti del sindaco Mario Paldini e di tutta l'amministrazione. Una mattinata davvero molto speciale, un momento veramente speciale. 19 dei 26 studenti che si sono specializzati quest'anno riceveranno oggi il vostro titolo di dottori. Sono molto emozionata. Ringrazio prima di tutto per questo bellissimo risultato la scuola IMT, il rettore, tutti i docenti, tutto lo staff, che svolge con grande e continuo e costante lavoro importante, un lavoro scientifico, organizzativo, a servizio della crescita culturale della città di Lucca, del nostro paese, di tutto il mondo. Gli studenti che oggi assumono il titolo di dottori provengono da ogni parte d'Europa, ma anche da ogni parte del mondo. E hanno scelto Lucca e hanno scelto IMT. Avete scelto IMT per arricchire il vostro bagaglio di conoscenze e naturalmente un bagaglio formativo. Continuare a formarsi, a riformarsi, ad apprendere, imparare, significa infatti continuare a crescere. E l'esperienza realizzata qui, in maniera sistematica, con il metodo di grande collaborazione, trasversale fra tutti gli ambiti degli MT, ma non solo, anche con tutta la città e con tutta la sua parte culturale, è importantissimo. E questo farà sì che voi rendiate sicuramente al mondo un grandissimo risultato affinché questo mondo sia sempre migliore, sempre più pacifico. Durante i mesi e gli anni che avete svolto nella vostra specializzazione, avete vissuto nella nostra città a stretto contatto con la bellezza e la sua armonia e avete vissuto a contatto con i principali istituti culturali. Auguro a tutti voi, a tutti voi dottori, di potervi portare appresso questa grande esperienza e questa formazione che avete appreso nella nostra bellissima città di Lucca. Auguri a tutti.
We now invite to the stage the rector of the IMT school, Professor Lorenzo Casini, who will give his address.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear colleagues, and most importantly, dear graduates. It is with great pride and deep joy that I welcome you all this special day, because it is a special day, because today we celebrate not only the successful completion of your doctoral journey, but also the values, the experiences, and the bonds that you have been started building during your stay here at the IMT school. But first, let me thank the representative of the institutions, the faculty, the staff, and the families who have supported our graduates along the way. Your presence here adds to the meaning of this occasion. Dear PhD graduates, you arrived in Lucca years ago from different countries, backgrounds, experience, driven by ambition, curiosity, and at first perhaps a healthy dose of fear and excitement. And yet, here you are, having mastered the challenge, and that deserves our heartfelt congratulations. But now, I want to take a moment to reflect on what the time you spent at the MIT school has meant in terms not only of academic achievements, but also in terms of intellectual and personal growth. The first year, can you remember the first year here in Lucca? The long days of lectures, readings, discussions, battles, that are sought after everywhere. And tools to solve them are taken from every disciplines, every methodology. And for this reason here you find, and you see them seated there at your right, economist, computer scientist, physicist, archaeologist, art historians, jurist, neuroscientist. They all talk continuously to each other in order to look for these tools. But let me say that your education was shaped not only by classes and research. It was shaped also by Lucca. Because living and studying in Lucca is a privilege. A walled city of beauty and proportion, where music, art, history, rainy days are part of the everyday landscape. It is a city that invites you to slow down, to look around, and to reflect. Not a bad metaphor for research, if you think about it. But, I mean, we are aware that intellectual life is extremely important, but it's much easier to reflect on complex methods, on medieval manuscripts, and on computational theories after a proper plate of tordelli lucchesi or a slice of bucellato. But yes, because in Lucca, even the cuisine teaches us a lesson. To take time, to reflect, to respect tradition, and to never underestimate the power of details. There is a line by Italo Calvino which properly describes what and how we think here at MIT. That is, if you build a wall, think of what's left outside. So this is a reminder that we must not be confined by walls or barriers of any kind. It could be physical, it could be disciplinary, it could be mental. And that's why your time here at the school prepared you specifically to cross those boundaries. This is what we hope it happen here, in order to provide you with this interdisciplinary approach. Because what we hope that you will carry something of Lucca with you, not only your CVs, but also in your outlook, that you will continue to explore, to connect, and to reflect, and to challenge. And also what we hope, and you will not only succeed, but you will inspire. And that's a first wish I have for you, that you could serve as an example for those who come after you. Future students will come here with their fears and hopes, and they will look your path. And hopefully they will be encouraged by what you have done to walk their own path boldly, creatively, and with kindness. The fact is that this interdisciplinary approach that we foster here is meant to bring you to question what is given and to imagine what is possible, but also what may be apparently not possible. So let me conclude with this, with other 3 final hopes and wishes. First, that you may achieve your success, whatever careers you take, academic, professional, or beyond. Second, that you may carry with you the name of IMT School with pride, as ambassadors of our values, and around the world. From this perspective, I hope that you will fruitfully work with the Association of Ex-Alumni that supports us with this. And third, maybe one day, 10, 20, 50, hundreds years from now, you will think back to Lucca with a smile, and you will think not only of what you'll learn here, but also what you have become. Because today we celebrate not only your excellence as scholars, we want also to celebrate the kind of people you hopefully have become. Curious, resilient, open-minded, and inter-trans and multidisciplinary. Why do we believe that this is so important? Because as the other people talking before me, we are living in difficult times. We are facing numerous challenges. There is the challenge of artificial intelligence that only with such tools you will be able to master it and not to being mastered by that tools, because it is a tool. And there is unfortunately the time of war that always humankind lives. And from this perspective, you might remember what it's now almost 1 century ago, when Albert Einstein was so obsessed with the question why there is war, why we cannot stop war. And he asked Sigmund Freud about this. And there is an exchange of letters between them about the war. And the response is that it's not easy, maybe it's impossible to stop war, but you can prevent it. And the best way to prevent it is education. Thank you.
Sorry for these pauses, we are addressing some technical issues. We now invite to the stage some of the graduates who are here today to receive their diplomas, who will deliver a speech about their experience at the IMT school. First, Adeyemi Damilare Adeoye from the program in Computer Science and Systems Engineering.
Good afternoon, everyone. Esteemed faculty members, honored guests, family, and fellow graduates. I want to thank you for this opportunity to give this speech this afternoon in this occasion. Standing here today, I'm reminded not only of the long night spent in the study room, but also of the moments in between. Those moments indeed were truly those that made life at IMT meaningful. For many of us international students, the IMT school experience begins the moment we arrive here in Italy, when we meet some mostly Italian students welcoming us, and using jokes, I call them our unpaid tour guides. I was lucky, even before receiving my visa, a colleague, Vittorio, took the time to show me around the campus on a video call. He made sure I knew all the important places, especially the corridor leading to my supervisor's office, Professor Alberto Benfura. When I finally arrived in Lucca, I was just coming out of quarantine, so 15 days quarantine upon arriving in Italy. And that's when some other colleagues, Roberto, Silvia, and Ajinkia, spent their Sunday afternoon to take me around and show me some places inside the city walls. Even with all the help, it didn't mean we did not get lost. Many of us still found ourselves wandering around, trying to find our way back to the study room from the canteen. When we talk about the PhD success, the first people we often thank or we mention are the faculty and, of course, our supervisors. Our mentors have been instrumental in shaping our research projects, and I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to them. But there is another part of the journey we all shared, the so-called triangular life. The 3 points of this triangle, what are they? The dormitory for us, the study room, and the canteen. We all know how important these places are. After all, it's impossible to think clearly with an empty stomach. So I would like to take a moment to thank all the IMT staff who take care of all these places, and thanks a lot for playing a huge part of our success. Of course, life happens, and sometimes we have to break that triangle. We try to keep up with hobbies and friendship, and for international students, one specific reason to break that loop would have been spending entire days at the Questor, trying to sort out one immigration issue or the other. But thankfully, people like Barbara, the facilities team, Martina, and many others always came through for us. And they spared us that extra stress. We are grateful to you. One of the things I've loved most about this community is how easy it is to find someone who shares your interest, no matter how unusual it is. So whether it's volleyball in the courtyard, football matches, table tennis in the common room, or workout in the IMT gym for the gym rats, there was always something for everyone. Even if your hobby is sleep, I'm sure someone here would have started a WhatsApp group for sleep lovers. So I want to thank the IMT school for supporting these spaces and activities. They were essential for our mental and physical health, especially while navigating the pressures of the PhD. But truly, none of this would have been possible without the people who make up this community. There is a saying in one of the local dialects in Nigeria that translates directly to English as one tree does not make a forest. It reminds us that we always need each other because no one has it all. And I'm deeply grateful for this IMT community, a community that always came through for us, lifted us up, and made this journey worthwhile. Thank you and congratulations to us all. May we carry the spirit of community and resilience wherever we go next.
The next speech will be from Carolina Bigliotti from the program in Economics, Networks, and Business Analytics.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning. And I am honored to be here today and to be here in front of you, of my dear fellow graduates who I warmly congratulate, and to the IMT community, friends, and family. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Carolina Bigliotti, and I just recently completed my PhD, specifically in the program of System Science, and in the track Economics, Networks, and Business Analytics. So just to tell you a little bit of how I came to IMT, so I am actually from Florence, so you could imagine I didn't have to move that far away to join IMT, but I knew long before applying that I wanted to join IMT, not just because of its beautiful campus and locations, but mostly because of its excellence in interdisciplinary science, which is what I like. So And so today I was asked to give a very short speech about the hopes and expectations that us recently graduate PhD students may have towards the future. And of course, you may imagine that this was not a simple task. Talking about hopes and expectations right now about the future seems kind of bleak. And in fact, the future feels very dark at the moment. At the present, it's terrible and heartbreaking. But still, this gave me the chance to reflect on my experience as a PhD student and also to look back with some hindsight. And today I just wanted to share a few things that I learned to appreciate during my time here at IMT and things that I hope we will continue to find in our future. So first of all, I really hope that each one of us will keep on finding purpose and motivation in life. And I really think that discovering one's self-worth is probably a lifelong challenge and something that we will never see the end of. But I also believe that if you do what you love, you are probably on the right path, and you will probably not regret it. And so I really hope that my fellow graduates and I will still be able to continue to do what we love, to find motivation in life, and even to be excited about what's next to come and not be fearful. And also, as we move forward in our careers, I really hope that we will continue to enjoy the same freedoms that we were given here at IMT. I'm talking about the freedom to choose what we want to study, mostly the freedom to choose what we like, what we don't like, and I think most importantly, the freedom to be able to make mistakes, you know, to be able to grow as people, not only as researchers, and the freedom to challenge not only our ideas, but also each other's ideas, because I really believe that that gives us an opportunity to grow all together. And so I'm very grateful for that, and I hope that all of us will still be able to be granted these kind of freedoms. And at last, I wanted to highlight the importance of community, because IMT really gave us an incredible one, a safe environment in which we could grow and learn, and in which really creativity and diversity of ideas are not only appreciated, but are celebrated. And so having such a strong support system, I really think it's what allows us to find purpose and freedom in life. And so I hope this was not too cheeky, but now I just wanted to mention some things that await for me personally in my future. And so last year, I decided to go on the market to find a postdoc position. And it was the most stressful time of my life, as many of us can imagine. And I did, I think, more or less 50 applications all throughout. I got some interviews. Some went good, some went not so good. But in the end, you just have to be called by someone. Just one is enough. And in fact, I found my next position, which is going to be at the European Union Institute in Fiesole, which is super near to Florence. So I'm pretty pleased about that. And in the Department of Economics. And so I'm very thrilled about what's next to come. But so I just wanted to finish by saying that as we continue on our separate paths, I really wish that each one of us will still be able to find new communities where we can thrive, places that will recognize and celebrate not only your uniqueness, but also your creativity, your persistence and determination. And so I wanted to conclude by echoing the remarks by Adeyemi and by expressing my gratitude to IMT, to the academic community, and to the wonderful people at the administrative staff. And so thank you so much for giving us a chance.
We now invite to the podium Davide Coraci from the program in Cognitive, Computational and Social Neurosciences.
Well, good morning. It's an honor for me to be here today on the occasion of this graduation ceremony and to have the opportunity to speak to you. And in particular, I'm pleased to talk about what brought me here to the IMT School for Advanced Studies in Lucca. And indeed, while we were preparing this part of the ceremony with the four of us coming on this stage, I specifically asked to speak about the path that led me here about 5 years ago. And I made this choice because talking about that goes beyond simply talking about my decision to apply for a PhD program, to apply here, and of course the joy of being accepted. For me, this means speaking about what I believe in, both as a person and as a young researcher. Indeed, the reason I came here goes back to more than 5 years ago. It comes from a simple lesson, you could say, I learned from my parents. They taught me to trust in knowledge and culture as essential in shaping human beings and responsible citizens of the society. My parents were born in the early 60s. They didn't go to university, and like many others at the time, started working at a young age. Probably because of these experiences of them, they wanted to convey to me the idea that knowledge and culture are elements through which a person's growth essentially and necessarily passes. Because knowledge and culture are free, accessible to everyone, and allow you to believe that if you have the patience and the willingness to, say, rub the sticks together, the spark that comes will be a good one. And if you were an adult, if I were an adult, I would want to say this to younger people, and if I were young, I would like to know that this lesson is true, right? But the idea that knowledge and culture, first and foremost, positively impact the social, economic, and political aspects of our world, and in particular that these aspects need knowledge and culture to be truly valuable, may seem utopian. Something that was true maybe decades ago and appears misleading or even wrong to some people today. That lesson from my parents seemed to us, say, too weak, too naive, right? When compared to the reality of the world that we face every day. However, I believe that that lesson is valid. I would say it is morally right. And if that's true, then that lesson holds, despite the world, even the academic one, that often forgets it, okay? And I've always sought reason to keep believing in that lesson. For instance, at a certain point, I realized that I wanted to work in academia, where knowledge and culture are central of our daily work. Then, when I began my PhD here, I discovered that my way of continuing to believe in that idea was through the integration of my philosophical background with neuroscience and psychology. And actually, I was lucky, okay? I was in one of the very few places out there that truly allow you to do something like that, right? To mean something that allow you to generally interdisciplinary. And this essentially is what brought me here. So attending your classes, sharing ideas with you, growing with you, and doing research with you has been the greatest opportunity for me to keep believing that lesson, and in particular in the idea that spark that comes from knowledge and culture, if you have, let's say, the patience and willingness to rub the sticks, let's say, together, is a good one, a good spark. And thank you.
We now invite to the stage Nicole Crescenzi from the program in Analysis and Management of Cultural Heritage.
Good morning, everyone. So first of all, rest assured, I do have slides, but they only contain photos. I'm not going to give a lecture. Now, this may worry my fellow students and friends, but I've tried to be nice, I promise. I've only put very nice pictures of you. So, to be a PhD at IMT, the human side, you might be wondering what I mean by that. And when thinking about this speech, I thought about what really made my experience as a PhD student at IMT different from doing a PhD everywhere else in Italy. And some aspects of this human side have been mentioned by my fellow graduated. So we talked about supervising and administrative offices and the canteen staff, and I also warmly thank them. But I really wanted to talk about the human side of the peers that walk this path with you, because I think that this is really something specific of IMT. So while there might be many reasons work-related, such as the possibility of living and working in a truly interdisciplinary and intersectoral environment, the most striking for me has always been the human side of IMT. First of all, I will get I wanted to take a moment to congratulate my fellow students. So I don't know about you, but sometimes I still need some time to stop and let it sink in that we actually did it. So remember, we actually did it, and we deserve a celebration for that. Congratulations. Now, this image shows the desperation of a PhD student. It doesn't really matter who this PhD is. Some of you may know her, some of you may not, but it's not important, because this could be any of us at any point during our career and during our path. I know for sure that I for myself have been in this position more than one time. So doing a PhD is no easy task, that is for sure. But I'm not going to conclude this part on a negative note. So I want instead to focus on what made these 5 years bright and definitely helped me go through these very difficult moments. When talking about friends who do PhD somewhere else in Italy, it always strikes me what a solitary PhD path they described. Not that they don't have any friends, of course they do have friends, but it is not easy to share the PhD experience with other people if you are not put in the right condition. IMT definitely puts you in the right condition, and if anything, it's very difficult to find some solitary moments, and you really need to look for them from time to time. So I started my PhD in November 2019. And with my cycle, we immediately dove into the campus life. We celebrated Christmas together, we celebrated birthdays together, and we decided for some reason to celebrate every birthday together, which became almost a full-time job at the beginning. And we also enjoyed the city and the experience that it could provide. But then, if you do the math, March 2020 came, and COVID also came. And one might expect that after so little time, you might probably lose touch with those people that you only knew for a few months. But this is part of what might be called the IMT effect. 3 months are actually perceived as almost 3 years in some ways, which means that we stuck together, we had video calls, and once we came back, we supported each other, bringing food to people quarantined, or just sharing a meal, even if it was not the easiest thing to do at that moment. Then it was possible to travel again, and we did just that. We started traveling to visit my IMT family all over the world, while some of them was abroad, has become one of the best excuses to travel around. We kept eating together, and we ate a lot, not only in the canteen, which was definitely a place to eat in, but we ate everywhere in the world. Rest assured, we also worked. And here I have learned so many different kinds of work that go beyond my own research and my own formation, even though there has been a lot of that too, of course. I also discovered that I enjoy other sides of my fields, such as doing guided tours for my city, for the city of Lucca, giving possibly something back to a city that gave me a lot. And also sharing those visits, for example, with my colleagues. So my colleagues and friends who not only were doing these visits with me, but they were only coming to support me and to see what I had to say about Lucca. And I also learned a lot about other people's works. Especially, I discovered how tiring participating in neuroscience experiments can be. And I cannot imagine how tiring it is to analyze all those data. I'm very sorry for you. So doing my PhD at IMT allowed me to discover new sides of myself. For example, I learned that even though I'm very bad at sports, I'm actually a pretty decent sports supporter. And I also learned how important it is to feel your friends, colleagues, supervisors' support when you're going through such a challenging experience. So never underestimate the importance of the human side, and remember to not only take advantage of the amazing opportunity that IMT provides work-wise, but also of the presence of the people who are walking this path with you. Thank you.
We now invite to the podium the president of the IMT School Student and Alumni Association, Laura Gianfagna.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you to the rector, to the school for this invitation. If I'm not wrong, I'll place my humble intervention just between a musical interlude, so I hope not to be too long. So first of all, congratulations to who received their doctorate degrees today. This is the culmination of a journey and the start of another one. So I welcome you also as new members to the Students and Alumni Association. This is your association. And I invite you also to continue your ceremony with us today, with the mentoring session, the keynote speak, the social dinner, and tomorrow with the table tennis and volleyball match, for which I thank the organizers, in particular Sam, Silvia, and mentors, Francesco Angelini, Laura Pecchioli, Gabriele Pompa, Gabriele Galvano, and the keynote speaker, Michael Rocklitz. So these are public events. I invite you all to join them. So this is the 2024-2027 Executive Committee of the Student and Alumni Association. We put our faces and effort to give back something to IMT. Why? Well, the key word there is partnership. Partnership with the school, with local institutions, territories, companies, community. And why? Why do we want to do so? Well, all these values that you have recalled, this safety environment where you can develop your research and grow and develop your human skills and touch a network, of course you've earned it. So it's well deserved. But I invite you not to take it for granted. You might think about it in few years' time, and this freedom, this safety, even the facilities, it's not given for granted. So, and so why this partnership? I know that on the one hand side, today you want to close the IMT chapter of your life, but just look back at those moments, at those harmless students, at your feelings, desires, emotions, and also fears and desperation when you came here. And think about what or who you would like to have in that moment, what kind of assistance and support. Well, this is just to say that this Students and Alumni Association is here partnering with IMT School and support offices to feel you safe and to provide this assistance. It's not just about mentoring, it's more than a database. It's really a worldwide network of people that can support your own career path now and later. So just please think about not simply joining, but actively participate for the benefit of other students or the entire community or the broader stakeholders. And I promise it will be rewarding more than you think. Thank you.
For a musical interlude, we now invite to the stage the string quartet of the Luigi Boccherini Conservatory of Music, who will perform the movements Allegro ma non troppo and Minuetto Allegretto from the quartet in C minor, Opus 18, number 4, by Ludwig van Beethoven. Thank you very much to the string quartet, Chiara Bosco, Alice Laudicina, Elisabetta Cordoni, and Livia Civello. The ceremony proceeds with the awarding of PhD diplomas. We invite back to the stage Rector Lorenzo Casini, as well as all our graduates who will receive their diplomas. Daria Akuner, PhD in Analysis of Management of Cultural Heritage, with a thesis on textile practices as memory making, weaving bonds between the past, present, and future in contemporary art and activism in Turkey. Adeyemi Damilare Adeoye, PhD in Computer Science and Systems Engineering, with a thesis on quasi-Newton methods for solving non-smooth optimization problems in learning and control. Samravit Tariku Ayele, PhD in Cognitive, Computational, and Social Neurosciences, with a thesis on the role of processing fluency and ambiguity in cognitive, affective, and aesthetic responses in internet memes and Moni images. Damiana Bergamo, PhD in Cognitive, Computational, and Social Neurosciences, with a thesis on beyond the cortex, cerebral hemodynamic changes associated with NMRI sleep, slow waves across the lifespan. Carolina Biliotti, PhD in Economics, Networks, and Business Analytics, with a thesis on essays on treatment effects in the context of COVID-19 and gender gaps in science. Elisa Morgana Cappello, PhD in Cognitive, Computational, and Social Neurosciences, with a thesis on the conceptualization and forecasting of emotion dynamics in healthy and psychiatric individuals. Giulio Virginio Clemente, PhD in Economics, Networks, and Business Analytics, with a thesis on the maximum entropy principle for temporal and ecological networks, memory fluctuations, and response in complex systems. Davide Coraci, PhD in Cognitive, Computational, and Social Neurosciences, with a thesis on the problem of reverse inference, philosophical models, and neuroscientific methods. Nicole Crescenzi, PhD in Analysis and Management of Cultural Heritage, with a thesis on exhibiting human remains, an issue at the intersection of ethics, museology, archaeology, and law. Francesca Fino, PhD in Analysis and Management of Cultural Heritage, with a thesis on sharing is caring, investigating accountability practices in Italian autonomous state museums. Aphrodite Giannakopoulo, PhD in Cognitive, Computational, and Social Neurosciences, with a thesis on understanding emotions, the evolution of affective neuroscience, and a network-based taxonomy of emotion. Demetrio Grollero, PhD in Cognitive, Computational, and Social Neurosciences, with a thesis on exploring the behavioral and neural underpinnings of nonverbal affective communication. Pablo Marcos Prieto, PhD in Economics, Networks, and Business Analytics, with a thesis on essays and conflict, aggressivity, and punishment. Francesca Micocci, PhD in Economics, Networks, and Business Analytics, with a thesis on policy evaluation and machine learning international economics. Stefania Miricola, PhD in Economics, Networks and Business Analytics with a thesis on essay on a geography of production. Eric Ordali, PhD in Cognitive, Computational and Social Neurosciences with a thesis on an essay on the emergence of non-pathological aggressive-like behaviors in the context of social interactions. Victor Ortiz Jimenez, PhD in Economics, Networks and Business Analytics with a thesis on Brexit, trade disruption and export recommendation. Nicolò Toccafondi, PhD in Economics, Networks and Business Analytics with a thesis on experimental methods for policy analysis.
The graduation ceremony is over, so congratulations again to all of you, and you are all invited to Canova for a lunch break. So now I look food obsessed, but that's the point. Thank you.